welcome to episode 265 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 10th of January 2024. I'm Joe, and with me are Faina.
Howdy.
Graham.
Good evening.
And Will.
Hello.
Let's get straight on with our discoveries then. Will, update your Pi-hole lists.
Yeah, so over the Christmas holidays, I was doing a bit of admin, and I noticed that one of my Pi-hole ad block lists, specifically OISD, wasn't updating. And it hadn't updated for a little while, a few days maybe. So I went digging into why, and the reason is that OISD have changed the format of their block list to try and improve it and make it more generalizable. The good news is it's fully supported by Pi-hole and AdGuard and AdBlock Plus and uBlock Origin and NextDNS and others. So it's an important fix that if you are using this one, and it is one of the very significant, very major block lists, you do need to take some action. So if you are sitting there with Pi-hole running and not paying much attention to it, then I think it's worth going and having a look.
I feel seen.
In order to get the upgrade to work, you probably have to upgrade Pi-hole to the latest version if you haven't upgraded for a few months. And then it's a very straightforward change to the URL of the OISD list, AdBlock list, and you're ready to go. So yeah, go and have a look if you haven't done recently.
How many lists do you use on your Pi-hole?
Oh, hold on.
By the way, if I drop out, it's because of updating Pi-hole.
I have got 7 block lists on there.
Fucking hell, right, okay.
Of those, 3 are custom ones for me. One is a YouTube blocker, one is a Fortnite blocker, and one is a TikTok blocker.
There's no fun to be had in that household.
It's my passive-aggressive parenting. Like, no, you can't have YouTube today. The rest of them are the significant ones. So, yeah, check them out. There is also one called the Fire TV ad block list, which could be interesting to people in the next couple of weeks, especially those who've got Prime Video.
Oh, go on.
I don't know if it'll work, but it's on Firestick-Loader on GitHub.
Interesting. Maybe you should put a link to that in the show notes so I can post it for everyone.
Well, we should keep it secret.
Yeah.
Keep it secret, keep it safe.
Yeah, I'll just bleep it out when he said the URL.
Make sure people listen. They can get the URL if they listen.
All right, yeah, good thinking.
If you take every third character from every fifth word.
Do you do the Fortnite blocking and TikTok and everything on a timer then?
Yes and no. I have the main switch is in Node Red, which I can then expose into Alexa, and so I can command it to switch it on and off. And that was working flawlessly for a couple of years, but then the kids rumbled me, and so I had to get rid of it. And so at the moment, it's just a plain switch in Pi-hole, in enabling and disabling a block list. And I will probably expose the switch into Home Assistant and put it on a dashboard somewhere.
You need to make it into a hardware button that you can just stamp your fist on the desk. Embargo on! Boom!
I do the same thing in Home Assistant and disable all of my kids' devices as well on the network.
Oh my God, you're both monsters.
It's great. I mean, they've got accounts on Home Assistant so they can, do things like turn the lights on, turn the radiators on if it's the right time. But
no, I wouldn't have that now. No.
Well, there's a limit to the temperature.
Excellent.
Okay, that's fine.
Phelim, Pioneer, is this old 80s stereo equipment?
It is not. It is essentially Elite, Frontier Elite, to make it more accurate and very cool. Can't fly the ship to save my fucking life because it uses proper mechanics in orbit. So, I mean, great game, looks cool. I've flown about the place, but I generally take off, head in a direction, and then I'm forever in that direction until I crash into the sun or something in 15 years' time when my orbit increases.
Or the Thargoids get you.
Well, yeah, it's an amazing piece of software, and it looks great. It's the Elite that you saw from the box picture, essentially. But it's cool. Yeah, big open source project. Love it. I just can't play it.
How does this relate to the Frontier Developments version then? Because I have that. I've played it once. It was too complicated. I gave up. But is this a bit more straightforward? Is this a bit more like the classic gameplay?
No, it's exactly like Frontier. It's the gameplay that you just went, yeah, no, I can't play this. It's like, I want my 8-bit computer to boot again so I can play the real one. I don't know. It's bizarre how they changed the mechanics like that. I don't know what they thought would be sort of enjoyable about trying to figure out the gravity and flying in orbits and stuff. But, you know, you just want to go and shoot and trade, but not in this one.
Go to Disso, get some slaves.
You know, it's been 40 years since Elite was released.
No, it hasn't. That's a lie.
At the end of 1984.
You're a giant liar. That's what you are. Liar, pants on fire.
All right, what is picture, or picture as they say? P-I-K-C-H-R. Come on, this isn't like 2008.
I know, I'm sorry, but it is rather handy. It's a way to generate graphics in Markdown in a simple text block that allows you to do nice sort of dot notation files or whatever. I was looking for something like this for doing a bit of network diagramming type things, and it's quite cool. And it's a single C file. If you don't want the whole project, there's a way to actually get like the entire website. You can even get a online sort of shower of how you can, you know, just drop the text block in and see what it does. But the C code itself is just a very quick, simple GCC command to compile it all in one file. Nice to get, easily done. And then you can put in Markdown, you can put in a text block, you can put a graph of nodes and stuff like that, and get drawn out.
Flowcharts is what I would call that.
Yeah, flowcharts, Visio, something like that. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I like this. This could be quite handy. I doubt that it's possible to get it enabled in GitHub, though, is it? And sadly, that's where I do the most of my markdowning.
That is a good question, but I mean, you could do the rendering yourself, potentially. Yeah. Because it is just Markdown, so it's just a text block. So you could put it in there. Maybe it wouldn't have the actual rendering itself then, but then you can do it afterwards.
And it exports... Oh, I was going to say it exports it as a PNG or something, does it? And then I was able to select the text from the picture, and now my mind is blown.
Yeah, and you can actually do SVG stuff as well through it. And yeah, it is pretty cool. And they've got some nice examples. Stuff like they actually physically draw like a cathode ray tube, and I was thinking, is that an object? Is it called cathode ray tube? No, they actually physically drew it. So yeah, I think a lot of this might be copy and paste from other people's examples of people who can do geometry and stuff. But yeah, still quite cool, I think.
Wow, if you click through to the examples, some of them are really quite
I know.
Good looking, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. Like, and it's all text, as you say, just copy and paste it and you can put it into your own.
And that spider one is just creepy.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Fucking mats.
How the fuck do you do that? It turns out in not that many lines of code.
It's equally too many to actually read, but also not enough that it should make sense. It's witchcraft is what it is.
Its logo is what it is.
Pen up.
But some of them look like stuff from a textbook.
Yeah, no, they are really good. It really is nice. And it's that beautiful thing of you can back them up with a text. It's a block of text. That's all you need. I like that.
Graham, you bought yourself a cheap Chinese travel router.
So the reason why I'm hopefully back by now, if the aeroplane door hasn't flown out in there.
Too soon, Graham, too soon.
But yeah, I've recently, as of this recording, I'm going on a business trip to Canada, and I run OpenVPN on my phone, and I often will tether other devices to it, but it's not a very good way of doing things. And so I thought I'd buy a portable Wi-Fi router to put in my hotel room and connect that up to my home network and connect everything up through that. I thought I'd have to spend a bit of money on this, but it turns out that you can get something like this for £34-ish.
Wow.
The other thing is that this office that I'm standing in now, my desktop PC is connected via power line device to the router, and its power line has just had its day. I think it does, like the Devolo devices, it doesn't work very well. The speed is actually really slow, and so what I've done is I've bridged my Wi-Fi connection at home using this router here in this office, and the performance is amazing. Plus, I've got OpenWrt in between my machine, the machines in this office, and the rest of the network. It works as a bridge, it works as a switch, it works as a router. And of course, with it being OpenWrt based, you can install plugins through the web UI, you can do OpenVPN, you can do WireGuard on it, all of that's built in, and you can update OpenWrt as well. And I'm just really impressed, albeit with the low levels spying firmware that must be running on there.
For 34 quid, yeah. You would imagine there's something hooky about it.
The Wi-Fi performance is great as well.
Is this off Amazon then, or off AliExpress?
I wasn't going to say, but it is off Amazon, yeah.
All right.
Do you happen to know if it's possible to link the Wi-Fi of one of these to the Wi-Fi of another? Can it bridge an Ethernet connection over to Wi-Fi?
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
And also, it can be a Wi-Fi hotspot. It can be an extension of the Wi-Fi network. And it can also just connect to the Wi-Fi and then bridge that to the... It's got 2 Ethernet ports and a WAN port. And it's got a USB port for storage as well, if you want to, run it as like a cheap NAS. And it runs off a USB power, USB-C power.
That is the key point then. So you can run it off a power bank, potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by Kolide. When you go through airport security, there's one line where the TSA agent checks your ID and another where a machine scans your bag. The same thing happens in enterprise security. But instead of passengers and luggage, it's end users and their devices. These days, most companies are pretty good at the first part of the equation, where they check user identity. But user devices can roll right through authentication without getting inspected at all. In fact, a huge percentage of companies allow unmanaged, untrusted devices to access their data. That means an employee can log in from a laptop that has its firewall turned off and hasn't been updated in 6 months. Or worse, that laptop might belong to a bad actor using employee credentials. Kolide finally solves the device trust problem. Kolide ensures that no device can log into your Okta-protected apps unless it passes your security checks. Plus, you can use Kolide on devices without MDM, like your Linux fleet, contractor devices, and every BYOD phone and laptop in your company. So support the show and go to kolide.com/late-night-linux to watch a demo and see how it works. That's KOLIDE.com/late-night-linux. Failing pipe install. This is naming and shaming projects that have a curl pipe to bash installation.
No. In the Y paragraph, it says this list should not be a pillory, but a list for overview which projects use it. But yes, you're correct. Named and shamed is what they should be. I mean, there's better ways to do this, as they even state themselves, run it into a checksum or whatever. Make sure that you have the right script signed by the people who actually wrote it, and you're not just blindly putting it into bash. So if you know any that aren't on this list, add them.
Look, I get the hate and everything, but if it's a trusted project, it's a very easy way to do it. And you don't have to pipe it to bash. You can just curl it and then cat it and read through it all and everything. Make sure.
Yeah, but I think people should make a script that does that and then do that and then make it your install fucking project.sh and then have people download it and run it rather than just blindly trusting a web page.
I get that, but it is also really convenient, so you're right.
Yeah, I mean, we should just email each other various random scripts that we have found on the web. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
Yeah, download random executables.
Oh, don't get me started. Liam on his Windows machine testing stuff out, and I'm like, oh dear God, what have you downloaded? What? From where? Who did it? It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
I told you about how I set my mum up with a Ubuntu laptop, and then I looked at her downloads, and it was all, watch this particular show.exe and stuff, and I was, thank fuck I set her up on Linux and not Windows, and didn't install Wine for her.
No, but remember, Linux is just built on a whole lot of shaky dodginess. Come on, Andrew, let's have more.
Let it go, man.
I can't. A week later, I'm still holding that grudge. Prick.
Will, Gifsicle, editing GIFs?
Well, kind of. Over Christmas, you may have seen that I broke my Christmas lights, and then I ordered some more from AliExpress. And while I was there, I found this really cool 32 by 32 pixel display for like 16 or 17 quid. It's a Bluetooth low energy device. It's got whatever it is, whatever 32 times 32 pixels are, RGB pixels, and it comes with an app, and it lets you control various effects. You can draw on the screen from within the app, and you can upload GIFs to it, especially animated GIFs, and it will play the animated GIFs on this 32 by 32 pixel device, which is about, 15, 20 centimeters square. It's a nice little device. It's really cheap, and it's quite a nice little fun toy for somebody to play with. So I went looking for some GIFs on the internet, and I found a whole bunch of like pixel art style GIFs, but I needed to resize them all to be 32 by 32 pixels. And doing that in GIMP or writing a Python script to do it was proving to be a bit too much effort. So I went looking for a tool that I could run on a directory of GIF files, which would allow me to resize them to the specific size I wanted and would not require me to sit there and drive this thing, that I could batch script it. And also, it had to be easily installable on my Ubuntu desktop. I didn't want to go and compile anything like that. And so I came across Gifsicle, which is exactly what I wanted. It's very simple. It doesn't do very special high quality rescaling, but it does do it in a batch format. You can have it replace the images that it is resizing. You can feed it a directory and it will just go through them in milliseconds, resize them and overwrite them, and they're ready to go. So yeah, if you need to resize a whole bunch of GIF files, which I appreciate is not really a common ask, but if you do need to do that, I would recommend Gifsicle.
32 by 32 is 1024, so that is pretty low resolution.
Yeah, it is low res. You have to stand probably about half a mile away from it to look quite right.
I take it you did do Rick Astley as one of them.
I did not, but now I need to.
You definitely need to. Giving it the shoulders. Will, scraping Gmail messages.
So yet another crazy project that I've managed to put on myself. I'm with Octopus Energy, and because of where I live in the UK, I occasionally get free electricity for a couple of hours for a given day. They call it power-ups. The idea behind it is that there are quite a lot of offshore wind turbines around the coast near where I live, and if it's a particularly windy day, then they generate a lot of electricity. And if they generate too much electricity, the grid gets all out of whack and they want you to use more electricity. And the way that they do this is by making it free, or even by paying you to use electricity. And so this is kind of what they call hyperlocal, but it covers most of the east of England. And occasionally at about 6 o'clock in the evening, I'll get an email and it will say, tomorrow between midday and 2 p.m, your electricity is free. And then you have to go and click on a link which takes you to a type form. You have to say, yes, I want free electricity. You submit the form, and then I go off and program my various automation systems to go into free electricity mode and use as much as they can at this particular time. Now, this is proving to be quite good. And, I can run the dishwasher for nothing. I can turn on a whole bunch of electric heaters for nothing. And it's been great, but it's been a bit of a bind having to click on a link and fill out a form and then go and program things. So what I thought I would do is try and script this problem away. And so this very long and rambling story comes down to needing to programmatically go through my Gmail messages, find a specific subject, open that email, get the body in plain text, write a regular expression to search for the strings that I'm looking for, extract the relevant pieces that I need, and then stick them in the JSON file, upload it to the web, and then I've got a JSON object which has got a start time and a stop time. And I thought, this sounds doable. I wonder how you do it. And I searched on Google, and this is the page that I found, a link in the show notes. And it's exactly what I needed to do. With Google Apps Script, you can use their Gmail API to search, as you would in a normal Gmail window, search for your emails, extract the body text of that, not the HTML, just the plain body, into a string, and then you can do whatever you want to do with it. And it's worked brilliantly. So this is what I've been working on for the last few days. Early days yet, but it looks like it's going to work. And without this web page, it would have taken me a long time to work out how to do it. I think really this is quite a useful feature of Gmail, the fact that this API exists and you can do this quite low level, well, I mean, it's JavaScript really, like programming to get in there, get access to your emails and mess around with them in the way that you want. It's quite a nice feature. I don't know of any mail clients that offer similar things, but then I haven't really looked.
Is this the same language that you used for the Telegram bot, for the news links that we have in our little Telegram group?
Yes, exactly the same one. And the reason that I used it then was because I didn't want to have to host a script somewhere running. And this Google Apps Script would take care of it. Like they would host it for me. I didn't have to pay for it. And it can output its results to a Google Doc, which is what we use anyway. So it's convenient and free.
So what email address do I need to pretend I am so I can now cost you several kilowatts of electricity tomorrow?
Well, you can't, because I'm the only one that can run this. What I might do is expose the results to the internet so that if anybody wants to download a JSON object, which may or may not contain the start and end times of a free electricity period, then I'll make that available. But yeah, you won't be able to trigger any of my stuff. I'm not that stupid.
Damn it. Damn.
I don't know, maybe if we spoof the emails into you.
Yes. Be right back. Oh, no, it won't work. I am undefeated.
Damn it.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by Tailscale. Go to tailscale.com/LNL. Tailscale is an easy-to-deploy, zero-config, no-fuss VPN that allows you to build simple networks across complex infrastructure. Sign up in a couple of minutes, install Tailscale on a couple of computers, servers, tablets, or phones, and a few clicks later, they're all connected, no matter where they are in the world. It took me about 5 minutes to set up Tailscale on my phone and a little Gigabyte Bricks NUC-type machine, and then I could SSH into the bricks from anywhere. And from there, I could SSH into other machines on my home network while I was out and about, all without opening any ports or manual config. So if you want the benefits of WireGuard without the hassle of configuring it manually, don't take my word for how easy it is to set up. Give Tailscale a go yourself. Support the show and go to tailscale.com/LNL and try Tailscale out for free for up to 100 devices and 3 users with no credit card required. That's tailscale.com/LNL. On to a bit of admin then. First of all, thank you everyone who supports us with PayPal and Patreon. We really do appreciate that. If you want to join those people, you can go to latenightlinux.com/support. And remember that for various amounts on Patreon, you can get an advert-free RSS feed of either just this show or all the shows in the Late Night Linux family. And often, episodes are a day or so early. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can email show@latenightlinux.com. Well, I've discovered 1D Pac-Man. This seems to be doing the rounds on various social media. And I think it even made it to Hacker News or something, or Slashdot. Anyway, it's just a one-line Pac-Man. So you can only go left and right. And it is very addictive for about 5 minutes and then you get bored, or at least I did. And yeah, there's really not much to it apart from that, I'm afraid. Although this exposed an issue because, Will, you tried to play this and it didn't work very well for you in Firefox.
Yeah, well, so I've got Firefox locked down quite significantly on privacy settings. And when I tried to play it, it looked, as you said, Joe, like my graphics card was broken. I got a load of massive coloured pixels and no, it wasn't playable. You could see that something was moving around on the screen, but you couldn't see what it was. And I started digging into this, and all of you guys said, no, it's working fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And in the end, I had to enable the ability for that website to access the canvas, which doesn't surprise me, given that it's a game. And then it worked properly. So yeah, if you are trying this and it doesn't work, then that's probably the fix.
I can't believe that Phelim called it.
Yeah, well, I only use Firefox, and I followed his sort of anti-East German Stasi fucking rules that he tried out, and they were quite good, but then so much stuff broke. God, it was unreal. And for me, it was the fingerprint and stuff that really sort of kicked it off. It's weird what breaks, like really weird.
So what, when you made it so that websites couldn't fingerprint your browser, that's what broke them?
Oh, loads of stuff. Like, it was unreal, the amount of websites that totally crapped out. Even things where I had an account, like say YouTube, logged in, I have dark theme enabled by default because of my account. It wouldn't let that happen because even though I was logged in as me, it still put the wrong theme on. It was so weird.
Let's do some feedback then. Anup says, you recently said you didn't know of any Android builds for the Raspberry Pi. ConstKang is available even for the Pi 5. There is an Android TV build as well. Check it out. And I did check it out, as in the website, and I almost downloaded it, but it was like Android file host and hosted on Google Drive, and it just seemed a little bit, I'm not saying untrustworthy, I'm sure it's fine, but I'm not fucking connecting that to my network. So I suppose I don't trust it is the bottom line.
Yeah, same. As soon as I went to that website, I noped out of it. So I haven't given it a test run, and nor will I. Which tells me something. I'm not sure what, but like the website looked bad, must be bad. It's kind of basic, but it's probably trustworthy. I'm not going to try it.
Yeah. Well, Anup also says, I have a Dell 8-inch tablet. I believe it's a 32-bit Atom processor. I can't figure out how to put it to use. I'd like to use it as a dashboard, monitoring services on my network, Pi-hole, PrintHub as examples. What would be the best way to do it? Any suggestions on OS, applications, etc. would be appreciated. Now, first of all, there is a reasonable chance that it is a 64-bit Atom processor with a 32-bit EFI. Because I've got an 8-inch, it's a Lynx 7 or Lynx 8, something like that. I think it's 7-inch tablet, which is exactly that. It's only 2 gigs of RAM. And there is a way to patch Ubuntu and derivatives to have a 32-bit EFI, or you can just boot Fedora on it, no problem. So I would say give Fedora a go on it, and you might find that it's 64-bit. But if it's not and it is 32-bit, then you're going to struggle, I think. You can get Debian running on it, for example, but applications, there's not a lot of 32-bit applications anymore.
I think the best use for it is as a doorstop, because despite the fact that you can run an operating system on there, and at a push you could get a browser running, I doubt very much that anything like Grafana, for example, would run on a machine that slow. It's just old and things aren't expecting to run on that sort of thing. If you are willing to put effort into writing your own graphing libraries or find some old ones that would do it for you, maybe, Phelim, you'll know. What's that old, is it RD client or something? That old monitoring thing.
Oh, RRD tool.
Yeah, that.
Oh, why did you think I would know the out-of-date, non-used one anymore? Oh, fuck you.
That's like your hobby, man. That would probably work on it just fine, but I doubt anything modern that needs a web browser would be usable. That's just my hunch.
CentOS 6, maybe, Graham?
But it could perhaps run a web browser, and through that, I don't know, like the Home Assistant dashboard or something, or Pi-hole dashboard, don't you think?
No, I don't think it will work. I struggled to run a very simple Home Assistant dashboard on an Android device which has got 128 meg of RAM on a, whatever it is, a 2 gigahertz processor, something like that. I just don't think it will work.
So maybe best case scenario is some sort of server like a Pi-hole thing, maybe. But I think 32-bit is just obsolete at this point, 32-bit x86 at least. And it's sad, but that's where we are. Jens wrote to us regarding Linux market share measurements. So Pornhub yearly data drop is on us all. Happy New Year's. And I would suggest looking into that as well, or rather than Steam data. Steam data is corrupted by self-reporting and by what people use for gaming. Pornhub data, on the other hand, provides exact data. And according to that data, Linux usage exploded with a comparative growth of 31%, and the market share for desktops is now 3.6%. Oh, honestly, I didn't say exploded like that for any reason. And Jens also says, I only go to Pornhub for the sociological data. And I believe it was the very first episode of this show.
I think it was. You're right, actually.
Where we talked about this.
Yeah.
And I think it is a reasonable-ish way to judge market share.
I think it's a great way to judge market share. I think this is really like scraping away any veneer of decency and just getting right down to the raw data. It's really exciting information.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's an interesting set of data that probably is better than Steam. It also suggests that 27% of Linux users have a foot fetish.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You really went trolling the data. Jesus.
This is the stuff I'm here for.
But 3.6% there, standing proud among the others. It's better than the 1% that it was for however many years.
The fetishism, or the Linux usage.
The Linux usage, and it's actually higher than Chrome OS, which is 2.9%.
And even if this is a trust issue, like Will was saying last episode, that's something that we've got that we can capitalize on.
Sorry, I didn't realize there was so much data in this.
Yeah, it
This
just
is
goes
actually
on and on.
disturbing. Power Rangers? What the fuck?
Oh, don't pretend like you don't know.
John Wick? Well, that's pretty okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of data here.
The Americans browse 33% less porn on Thanksgiving's Day.
Yeah, and for some reason, Good Friday was the day they picked for us to show the statistic of that where it dropped off. I suppose people are feeling guilty then or something. Or maybe they're just not working or something, not skiving off. Well, either way, I think that it is a reasonable way to judge market share and excellent news for Linux.
And also, I've just noticed that Firefox holding 4.8% of the market.
Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat.
Oh my God, Opera has got 6.2. How is this possible?
I'd strongly suspect it's people using a separate browser.
Oh dear God. Coronation Insights? What? I'm just sick in my mouth.
Right, well, we better get out of here then. We'll be back next week when it'll probably be news and stuff, but we'll see. Until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Phelan.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.